All right, so here it is, 1958 Ford F100 pickup truck. All right, so there's a reason that I've got the 2005 Crown Vic on the channel. It's gonna go underneath the 1958 Ford F100. And it was at that moment that crazy Casey's Crown Victoria swap budget went right out the window. Hey folks, Casey here, sitting in the F100 cab out in the garage. It's a little after 5 a.m. right now on Friday morning, the first week of school. This high school shop teacher is a little bit tired. Getting back into the groove is hard every year. It doesn't matter how good the summer is, how relaxing the summer is. And my summer was pretty relaxing despite the fact that I made a lot of progress on this project. So I want to bring you in. This isn't the long form video that you were probably expecting this week, but this is what you're gonna get. So let me show you where I'm at on the Crown Vic project with 1 week of barely working on it. Believe it or not, this is actually the fun part.
I love hearing guys go, oh, I remember my car phase. I don't have a car phase. This is my cancer. It's with me until I drop.
All right. So as a high school auto shop teacher, I show that Petrolicious Steve Strope Martini Mustang clip to my students at the start of every year. The job itself is to train kids to enter the workplace as automotive service technicians. Obviously, we have a big problem in this country right now, and that's that more and more of these technicians are retiring out, leaving a huge gap of jobs to be filled. And we're in big trouble if we don't have anybody to keep the cars on the road, right? But passion. There's nobody that I know in the automotive industry who's more passionate than Steve Strope. The guy is, it's hard to listen to him talk and not just be totally excited. And so I showed this clip to these kids and I asked him at the end of the clip, I said, all right, what's your takeaway? And you know, you might think, because you guys watching this are car guys, pretty much guaranteed, right? You might think their takeaway would be, oh man, that's a beautiful car, or like, oh, I love how he did this, or I love how he did that. They talk about his passion. They talk about his drive. They talk about seeing the project through no matter what. And that's exactly what I want them to take away from that. Now, I look at the Martini Mustang and I go, man, what a car. I love Steve Strope's philosophy about the anchor of plausible reality in a build. And obviously there is no plausible reality at all putting a 1958 Ford F100 cab onto a 2005 Crown Vic chassis. But when you look at this thing, before you pop the hood, I want it to be pure early 60s vintage racing goodness. So I've had this idea in my head ever since the beginning that when you look at this, it'll be somebody's shop truck inspired by a Shelby Cobra, then sat in a field for 50 years. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. It's the theme, if you will. With a fuel-injected 4.6 power plant under the hood, obviously it has to be kind of a loose theme, though I do reserve the right to look at someday either ITBs or at the very least a supercharger on top of this thing. Maybe a wire tuck. I don't know. You're not going to hide the Crown Vic in one of these projects, but I'm trying to approach it a little bit different than most people who build these and hide as much of it as I can. So I'm sitting in my Kirky vintage low back racing seats, which are sitting on 2x4s on top of Crown Vic Police Interceptor sliders on a stock Crown Vic carpet. And obviously I'm not going to put it together like this, but I grabbed these carpets out of a Police Interceptor that was a pick and pull because it gives me a place to start with the interior on this thing. I've also got the full Crown Victoria sound deadening piece. And here's where I'm at right now, controls. So this is the Crown Vic steering shaft that attaches into the tilt part of the Crown Vic column. And the reason that I'm trying to use this here, it's got a nice firewall pass-through grommet that supports the shaft. It's got a slip. Can you guys see the slip? It's got a slip, or a collapsible column, I guess is what you should call it, not a slip. It's a collapsible piece. So if I were to get in a really bad front end wreck, I wouldn't be impaled because it would have at least some collapsible part. And then it's got a built-in rag joint. So where I'm thinking about attaching to the F100 column is right here at this rag joint piece. If I can use the bearing, I will probably use the bearing as well. But what's cool, this kind of sits in about the right orientation. And that's why I used the Crown Vic floor and firewall with the F100 cab, because I kind of had a feeling that this would kind of set me up in the right direction, more or less. It's not perfect. I'm gonna have to still do some fabrication, but it gets me close. Looking in here, you can see the Crown Vic front part of the steering shaft, as well as their universal joint where it comes out of the F100 cab going through that stock firewall pass-through. As far as the Crown Vic is concerned, this stuff is all in the factory location, and that's part of why I used it. And we got brake master cylinder booster out on the front. As you guys can see, I also have the Crown Vic drive-by-wire gas pedal in here, and then I've got the booster and then brake pedal assembly mounted as well. These are going to be my two pass-throughs for wiring. My vent is a little bit cut off, but I'll manage. I'll find a way. And then I've got my Crown Vic cluster just kind of sitting in here. It actually fell back, but it will be up in the gauges, and I'll find a way to make it look right. I think that's the plan. I want it to look like an F100 in here, but again, this is a $5,000 budget build. I mentioned the Kirky low back vintage racing buckets. I have their seat bracket kit, which should serve as a pretty good interface between the seats and the Crown Vic sliders. I'm still kind of trying to figure out exactly how all that's going to go. I did also kind of paint and finish my little step reliefs as they go into the cab. I tried to patina them a little bit. I didn't go crazy yet. I figure they'll get beat up enough as I'm working on this thing. The Duplicolor Wimbledon White is an okay match to the F100 cab, but obviously 60-plus-year-old paint is never going to be a match to something fresh. All right, here is the F100 steering column. I am absolutely not going to use the stock F100 wheel. It's about 18 inches in diameter, and it's far too big for a performance driving application, in my opinion. I've got a really cool wheel that I picked up. It's going to be a Moto-Lita style, think Shelby Cobra, and that's kind of where I brought in the Steve Strope idea, the anchor of plausible reality. I love the way that he builds cars. Obviously, there's no plausible reality about a 2005 Ford Crown Vic on a 1958 F100, but I like the idea of that. My other hope with this column is to use the column mount and then to adapt the column shift to operate via these guys right here, the Crown Vic automatic transmission. Probably try to use the turn signals too. I don't know how I'm going to be able to use the horn. Probably going to have to steal some parts out of what's left of the Crown Vic steering column. Anyway, I apologize to you guys for not having a traditional long form video with a lot of working on the truck this week. It's been a week, but I should be back next week with something. I've got Saturday and part of the day Sunday to work on this thing this weekend before I go back to school next Monday. And in the beginning of the semester, really, it's all about getting as many projects together for these kids as I can. I actually have an idea to, in my 61 Willis pickup truck, haul up the inline six that came out of the F100. I've got another 390 that's pretty rusted, and I've got a little 65 289 C4 combo. And I thought maybe just because I'm feeling vintage Fords right now, and they don't really know anything about working on cars yet because it's a whole batch of new students, figured I might bring those up there and let them take these apart a little bit, clean them up, try to diagnose what happened to these motors, what made them sit, and go from there. So anyway, I hope you like what you saw in today's video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button because that keeps the algorithm driving people my way, and I do appreciate it. High school shop teachers don't make a ton of money, so the YouTube thing must go on, which is good for you guys, I hope, because you seem to like my videos, so maybe you'll keep watching. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the project. I'm interested to hear from you, and I respond to every single comment I get. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Consider sharing this video with a friend or somebody else who might enjoy it. And thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one.